Are you guys ready for a laugh? Here we have somebody really spiraling out of control. As I don't know what Democrats are thinking with this guy, specifically Kamala, but we have the vice presidential candidate for the Democrats, Tim Walz, and here he is losing his mind on Fox News. Who told this guy to go on Fox? This guy is doing more hard interviews than Kamala Harris. Apparently, they thought this was a good idea, and if Fox host was not playing around, so make sure to smash the like button. We have an interview to go through. And by the way, throughout this interview, there's an image that's going to be playing in my head. And it's this one. Guys, remember that? This guy's had a bad week. Tim Walz had a bad week. He was saying during one of the rallies about 2 months ago, a month and a half ago, he was saying, I can't wait to debate this. I can't wait to debate JD Vance. I can't wait to debate him. Well, a picture tells 1,000 words, and this one tells many. JD Vance just laughing and memeing his way into victory during that debate. Even swing voters and independent voters knew that Tim Walz was out of his mind and out of his league. Well, Tim Walz decides to try to fix it during an interview. And ladies and gentlemen, get ready for the spiral out of control that you never thought you'd see. This guy sucks. He sucks. And yeah, we're going to be talking about a lot, ladies and gentlemen. So here we go. Let's take a listen. If you guys are ready for this, please smash the like button. Can't wait for you guys to see this guy spiral out of control, specifically with the abortion topic. Take a listen.
Hold this coalition together. And again, when Iran launched their missiles this week, she's in the Situation Room. That's different. The people who are in the Situation Room with Donald Trump, like John Kelly as chief of staff, said he shouldn't be there. He's a damaged human being. His own defense secretary said he does not understand the situation, is incapable of dealing with it. So and it's about character.
Let's focus on what your position is and the vice president's position as well. I want to talk about abortion too, because this came up at the debate. It's been a winning argument for Democrats on many ballots, but I want to clarify what the law is there in Minnesota. Abortion Finder, a website that helps women find access, says abortion is legal throughout pregnancy in Minnesota. There is no ban or limit on abortion in Minnesota based on how far along in a pregnancy you are. You signed the bill that makes it legal through all 9 months. Is that?
Whoa. A lot of people don't know this. See, told you guys he made a huge mistake going on Fox. You know how many Christians vote Democrat and they have no idea what this guy really stands for? Take a look. This is crazy. My bad, guys. I don't mean to pause it. I do got to go back for the people that just came in. Let me put the subtitles for those as well that always requested. Here we go.
Winning argument for Democrats on many ballots, but I want to clarify what the law is there in Minnesota. Abortion Finder, a website that helps women find access, says abortion is legal throughout pregnancy in Minnesota. There is no ban or limit on abortion in Minnesota based on how far along in a pregnancy you are. You signed the bill that makes it legal through all 9 months. Is that a position you think Democrats should advocate for nationally?
Look, the vice president and I have been clear. The restoration of Roe versus Wade is what we're asking for.
But that
this
law
is a
goes
woman's
far beyond
right
Roe v. Wade
to make her own choice. The law is very clear. It does not change that. That was been debunked on every occasion.
But wait. Let's agree. What you signed is there's not a single limit through 9 months of pregnancy. Roe had a trimester framework that did have limits through the pregnancy. The Minnesota law does not have that.
This puts the decision with the woman and her healthcare providers. The situation we have is when you don't have the ability of healthcare providers to provide that, that's where you end up with a situation like Amanda Zaworski in Texas, where they are afraid to do what's necessary. This doesn't change anything. It puts the decision back on to the woman, to the physicians, and we know that this is simply...
Yo, he's lying right now? Is he serious, guys? Smash the like button if you just came in here. We got Tim Walz having a meltdown. As you can see, he got the crazy eyes. His eyes are going everywhere. He can't believe that she got him on this.
Something to be brought up, to be very clear. Donald Trump's asking for a nationwide abortion ban.
Wait, he has said that we don't see this as a winning campaign. He has said repeatedly that he will not sign a national abortion ban. Are you calling that just, it's a flat out lie?
Yes, of course. And Senator Vance has in the past said so too. Now, look, they may see this as an election issue. We see it as a right of women to make their own bodily decisions. And that's what the states like my state have the ability to put that in. States like Georgia force women to cross the border, and then we have a death of Amber Thurman. So let's be very clear. Trying to cut hairs on an issue on this is not where the American public's at. They want the restoration of Roe versus Wade. Vice President Harris said she would sign it. That's what we'll do when we're elected.
But to be clear, the Minnesota law
right
is far beyond Roe v. Wade. And about the Amber Thurman case in Georgia, her family has, and it's tragic, she is a young mother who left behind a young son. But what her family has said is it was a complication from an abortion pill that she received, and she didn't get proper care when she went to a Georgia hospital, which had multiple opportunities to intervene there. Her own attorney.
Wow. Didn't know this. This is why you got to do your own research. These Democrats, crazy, evil people. She's giving details that probably a lot of Democrats don't. He's just putting out a name of a situation. Democrats are probably parading that, but the details that she's telling are far more beyond than what he has said this whole time. He just said the name. It's crazy.
The family's attorney says it wasn't the Georgia law. It was the hospitals. What he claims is malpractice, not treating her when she clearly showed up in distress and still had the byproducts of her pregnancy because of that rare complication from the abortion pill. So just to be clear on the Georgia law and how her family and her attorney sees it.
I think they also indicated that had she not go to North Carolina after the debate the other night, that she would have been in a better position. So look, these are the situations you're going to get into when you take this decision and put it in the hands of politicians like Donald Trump, rather than women and their doctors. We trust women, we trust doctors, and we know the outcomes of that are better.
Okay, let's clarify more changes that you signed in Minnesota as well. Several things were repealed with respect to reporting infants who may have survived an abortion attempt. Language that used to be part of the statute was taken out. We'll put this on the screen so people can see. It used to require medical personnel to, quote, preserve the life and health of the born alive infant. That language has been repealed. It's no longer part of the law. Also struck from the law was language about reporting infants that are born alive, what treatment they receive, and whether they live or die. Why was it important to you to get that protection out of the law?
Minnesota law aligns with every other case of what physicians are required by their ethical responsibilities. And so it changed nothing other than aligning with all care that physicians provide in any circumstance for any medical case. And so it's alignment as it's always been. It's the cases we've seen in Minnesota, the outcomes we get in our healthcare results are the best in the nation. And all it did was align with.
Keep this guy very far away. Keep him very far away from the White House. I really mean this. Keep this creep out of the White House. This guy's lying out of his ass right now. What's crazy, you could tell his demeanor, right? The language change. The fact that he tried to use the young lady as an example for something that doesn't even apply. He's getting corrected. He's getting fact checked left and right. Keep this guy very, very far away from the White House, dog.
Existing law.
But you do acknowledge it takes out the language about preserving the life of an infant who was born alive.
Every doctor has an ethical responsibility to provide what they can in each situation.
Y'all listening to this?
The cases we've seen in Minnesota, the outcomes we get in our healthcare results are the best in the nation. And all it did was align with existing law.
But you do acknowledge it takes out the language about preserving the life of an infant who was born alive.
Every doctor has an ethical responsibility to provide what they can in each situation. That is the way the law is written now. It's the same for any person who shows up. And again, this is a distraction from the real issue here is women being forced into miscarriages, women being forced to go back home, get sepsis, potentially die, like we saw in cases in Texas, and maternal mortality rates in Texas have skyrocketed off the charts because of this. This is bad policy. Vice President and I have been very clear on this. We will restore the rights of Roe versus Wade. We will make sure women have their health care decisions. We will not put people's lives at risk because of the geography of where they live. And it will go back to the way it was before Donald Trump gleefully said, we've got the best of both worlds here. Things are wonderful. The states are handling it. It's a beautiful thing. It's not a beautiful thing to see women dying. It's not a beautiful thing to put doctors at risk of being imprisoned.
It is not. It is not to see any single woman suffer. And by the way, there's not a single state, no matter how pro-life or restrictive their laws are, that do not allow a doctor to intercede. That's true in Georgia and Texas as well. I want to turn to the economy.
Big fact check right there. Big fact check right there. He just got fact checked because he's making it seem like that's the case. You see what I mean? There's a few examples, that 1% example that these Democrats do be using. This is, I was a very I was like this before, so I get what he's doing here. It's not slick, dude.
Polling shows that 66% of Americans we talked to said that buying groceries is a quote major problem for them. And when we ask people about how they feel about the policies of this administration versus the previous, double the amount of people surveyed say that Biden-Harris policies have hurt them rather than help them and their families economically. That's in stark contrast to how they feel when asked about the Trump administration. So what would a Harris-Walz administration do different than a Biden-Harris administration when it comes to convincing people that the economy is going to get better for them because their perception is that it's not?
Well, we saw a blockbuster jobs report this week. We saw interest rates come down, and we've also seen that Vice President Harris laying out a middle-class agenda. Look, I was in Ohio yesterday, in Cleveland, in Cincinnati, and talking about this. Folks in Ohio know that Donald Trump's policies led to 180,000 manufacturing jobs leaving. They understand when he left office, we had more people unemployed percentage-wise than the Great Depression. What Vice President Harris is talking about is making it more affordable to buy housing, and we've seen it in Minneapolis. When you have more housing stock, we've seen rates go down. We've seen more houses available. Also, the idea of price gouging. 37 states, Republican and Democratic states, have this. Corn is about $4.10 or so a bushel. That's where it's been for many years, up and down. But prices at the grocery stores have skyrocketed. Corporate profits have skyrocketed, and people are.
Could you imagine a vice president that's in office right now running against her own record with her president, and her vice president to be, if they win, which I doubt they will, is making a case that things are very, very bad and it's somehow Donald Trump's fault? This is somehow Donald Trump's fault. Price gouging happened under Donald. It happened under the last 4 years, right? If that's what you're fighting, this is crazy.
Are paying more. So we talk about that. And then I think the fundamental difference here is Donald Trump kept his promise. He cut taxes for the wealthiest. She's talking about making sure things like a child tax credit, $6,000 child tax credit, put more money in people's pocket, making sure that we're able to buy those things, whether it's a crib or it's baby formula, get started. And she's simply asking that we can pay for it by asking those at the top to pay their fair share. This is a fundamental difference in approaches to it, and we're seeing it working. We're seeing economists talk about Donald Trump's proposal to add a 20% sales tax will cost $4,000.
Okay.
That's everybody. That's not me saying it.
And just to note, that is a tariff, which, by the way, this administration not only kept most of the Trump tariffs, but they added their own as well. So that's got to be part of the conversation. I want to talk a little bit about your record as governor, because it elucidates for people how you may serve as whether you end up being the president. You'll be one heartbeat away should your ticket be successful. Wall Street Journal says this after you were chosen to join the ticket. As the Democratic governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz signed into law initiatives allowing immigrants in the country illegally to apply for driver's licenses, qualify for free tuition at state universities, and enroll in the state's free healthcare program for low-income residents. Are those not magnets to draw people here, many times on dangerous journeys for themselves? And why should your taxpayers in Minnesota or across the states pay for those programs?
Well, that's not the vice president's position, but I will say this. Minnesota ranks as a top 5 business state. We rank as a top 3 state for children living, and we're the top state for healthcare access. I would also add this. We also have some of the safest roads. Look, the vice president has made it clear that she has policies that make a difference. Her border policies are the most strongest, the fairest we've seen. It's
but
the
now,
bill
Governor,
that was
you know, a lot of people.
Yo, I'm out. I'm done. I can't do it. Oh my God. Did he just go on air and say that? Look, if you're a Democrat, and I'm pretty sure there's got to be like at least 200, 300 Democrats out of the 2,300 people we got here, right? Bro, you got to know that this is what bullshit looks like. Like, you have to legitimately say, oh, damn, I'm a Democrat. I'm voting for these guys. But godly, he's lying right now. Yo, he's lying. She has one of the best policies at for the what? Yo, you're crazy. Like, you, what?
The state. We rank as a top 3 state for children living, and we're the top state for healthcare access. I would also add this. We also have some of the safest roads. Look, the vice president has made it clear that she has policies that make a difference. Her border policies are the most strongest, the fairest we've seen. It's
But
the
now,
bill
Governor,
that was
you know, a lot of
crafted.
people, including your own party,
was-
would not join that statement.
Mm.
There are millions of people who have come here over the last few years that, you know, they see this as an
The
open border.
policies. Well, simply, we have a policy. Donald Trump sees it as a political. Look, James Langford in Oklahoma, the Border Patrol agents, the Wall Street Journal, the Chamber of Commerce, all said pass this legislation. You have to have Congress to authorize 1,500 new border agents. You have to have Congress to authorize DOJ to speed adjudications on these asylum claims. Those are things that would actually work. Donald Trump told us for 4 years he would deal with this. He didn't. He didn't build his wall, 2%. Mexico didn't pay for it. This is a real bill that has bipartisan support. It has the experts on board, and it starts to tackle these issues. And we don't have to resort to demonizing people. We don't have to resort to making up or crafting stories, as Senator Vance said he did. Those things were not happening in Springfield, but it doesn't mean that we can't pass a piece of legislation to strengthen our border. That's what Kamala Harris is talking about.
Well,
She's talking
Governor,
about solving the problem.
that piece of legislation does include the wall that you guys have been so.
Here we go.
You've disparaged that. I mean, the vice president has as well. So I don't know if she really
Come on, let's get a good fact checked here.
intends to move forward with that. But it was negotiated by 3 or 4 senators, and many Republicans came out against it long before President Trump indicated he didn't like it either. Listen, before we go, because I wish that we had a full hour, I want to give you a chance, because you called yourself a knucklehead this week, to talk about some of your misstatements.
Yes.
You've modified your story or explained that you.
She's killing him with kindness here. Here we go, though. This is the best part of the interview. Here's why this guy sucks so bad. This guy's a liar. He lied literally during the debate. People know this. The Tiananmen Square, what is it? Tiananmen Square, which is the China situation that happened in the early 90s that he said he was a part of, and all these different things this guy's lying about. Let's see. Let's cook.
You misspoke about things involving your military rank, about carrying a weapon in war, your 1995 DUI arrest, using IVF to have your beautiful children gustate.
Oh my God, they have the list.
Hong Kong and China.
They have the list of Walz misstatements, which is AKA lies. Military rank. Wow, they literally have the list. Oh, this is good. This is really good.
And the summer of 1989, during the Tiananmen events, a lot of people would say they couldn't get away with saying, I'm just too passionate, my grammar's not right, I'm a knucklehead. What do you say to the American people who think, I don't know that I can trust this guy with all those modifications to be the potential commander-in-chief of this country?
Yeah, well, I think they heard me. They heard me the other night speaking passionately about gun violence and misspeaking. And I got to be honest with you, Shannon. I don't think people care whether I used IUI or IVF when we talk about this. What they understand is Donald Trump would resist those things. Look, I speak passionately. I had an entire career, decades before I was in public office. They know, and I'm very proud of my 24 years in service and my record. I have never disparaged someone else in this, but I know that's not what Donald Trump does. They disparage everyone, the personal attacks. I will own up when I miss.
Oh my God, he's making it about Donald Trump. Yo! Come on, Democrats. I know you got to see through this BS right here, bro. He's literally going, yo, this is why I love Trump, and this is why I'm voting for Trump. One of the main reasons, there's many reasons, but this one specifically, when you're caught lying, just blame Trump. When things go wrong, blame Trump. When your own policies backfire, blame Trump. When you can't wipe your own ass, blame Trump. When you don't work hard enough, blame Trump. When the country's falling apart because of things that you guys have done for the last 4 years, blame Trump. When you get caught lying about shit that you were on camera saying, we're just going to blame Trump. What's the easiest way for me to get out of a situation? Blame Trump. Isn't that crazy? Blame Trump for all my shit. Look, I lied, but it's Donald Trump's fault. Yo, guys, I've been a bad husband, but some way how that's Donald Trump's fault too. Like, this is crazy. Blame Trump for everything, bro.
speak. I will own up when I make a mistake. Let's be very clear. On that debate stage the other night, I asked one very simple question, and Senator Vance would not acknowledge that Donald Trump lost the 2020 election. I think they're probably far more concerned with that than my wife and I used IUI to have our child, and that Donald Trump would restrict that. So I think folks know who I am. My constituents here in Minnesota have elected me 8 times. They know where I'm at, and I'm proud to be on the ticket, and we'll deliver just like we have here in Minnesota.
And if we're going to deal in truth, both the president, the former president, and his nominee have said that they are very supportive of IVF. We are glad you have your precious family, and we thank.
Wow, he got cooked so bad this interview, bro. And she's doing, like, she's cleaning up the mess that he's leaving behind. She's like cleaning it up with little sentences to end it. Oh, she's doing the CNN stuff over at Fox.
Thank you for serving in uniform and your years and decades as a teacher. My mom was too. I know it's really hard work and sometimes very thankless. So, Governor, we appreciate your time.
She cooked him. And then she says, well, have a good day. Thank you for your service. Thank you for being a coach. It's over. Look, this guy, we get it. Look, this guy is probably whatever. I'm only judging him based on what I've gotten so far. This guy is not a good guy. Like, he seems like he's trying to play all these roles, trying to be this person that he's just not. He's not that guy. You're not that guy, pal. And they're trying to make him out to be that guy. Like, Kamala's not that woman. Like, she's not that person that they're trying to make her out to be. She's exactly who we thought she was, a meme. But media, propaganda, and Democrats running and trying to resolve things very fast. They trying to put people up on the stage that don't belong there. This guy obviously is not primetime ready. JD Vance, on the other hand, showed the world that, right? He showed the world that he was primetime ready. I mean, just look at the meme that went viral. Like, he had a couple moments where he just giving this face to the camera, like, look, this guy's talking in circles. He's talking out of his butt. He don't know what he got going on. So he had some moments here.
The most sacred right under the United States democracy is the First Amendment. You yourself have said there's no First Amendment right to misinformation. Kamala Harris wants to use the power of government and big tech to silence people from speaking their minds. That is a threat to democracy that will long outlive this present political moment. I would like Democrats and Republicans to both reject censorship. Let's persuade one another. Let's argue about ideas, and then let's come together afterwards.
You can't yell fire in a crowded theater. That's the test. That's the Supreme Court test.
Tim, fire in a crowded theater. You guys wanted to kick people off of Facebook for saying that toddlers shouldn't wear masks.
Senator, the governor does have the floor.
Fire in a crowded theater. That is criticizing the policies of the government, which is the right of every American.
Senator, the governor does have the floor.
Just look at his face. He's been done ever since then. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. JD Vance really did RIP to the VIP, man. RIP to Tim Walz's career as a vice president, because he will never be the same after this. He will never be the same after this. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Make sure to smash that like button. Spread the word on this video. We'll be back with a bigger and better video. Always, as always, make sure to comment down below where you guys are watching from. See you guys on the next one.